What is up, guys? Lincoln here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Dread Captures. We have an awesome video for you this week. I poured over dozens and dozens and hundreds of comments, so thank you very much. So we are going to be switching things up just a little bit. We're getting rid of some things, adding some things. Same awesome content, but it'll look a little different, and I think you guys will like it. Yeah. So let me know if you do. As always, please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and I will see you all in the comments. This is a pretty crazy clip here as a boar just smashes through this gate. I mean, he goes right through it. This thing doesn't stand a chance. It doesn't even really slow him down. And watch as he gives us the most graceful little leap into the garden. Twinkle toes. If you watch, you can see the boar must have been coming off that hill and crossed the road, freaked out, and said, I gotta smash through this gate. And I'll be danged if he didn't. That'd be something if you were standing there in your little courtyard and a boar smashes through the front of your gate, coming at you full steam. As you can see, a woman on a Southern California hiking trail has found herself in quite the predicament. A massive brown bear is directly in the path, and man, that is a small trail, with some gorgeous views, I might add. You can actually hear as she roars back at the bear, trying to deter it. Unfortunately, like we've discussed many times, this bear does have cubs with it, so she's probably not going to back down. Personally, I'll say this, as soon as I got around that corner at the beginning of the video, I would take off. I would put as much distance between myself and that bear as I could. I know you're not supposed to run, but the bear doesn't know you're running if it can't see you. Now, one of the craziest parts about all this is that this person was actually running on this trail, and when she turned the corner, she's quoted as to saying that the bear was 5 inches from her waist. She was immediately startled and doubled back, and that's when she took out her phone. There were two paths, so eventually the runner and another person were able to get away while the bear continued down the other path with her cubs. This is such a heartwarming video, and I just cannot imagine the fear that these two girls felt. Check this out.
You guys okay? Or are you in trouble?
Oh, we need help.
Okay. Stand by. We're getting you. Doug, take this camera. You're fine. We're gonna get you.
We're gonna get you. Don't worry. Just keep coming. We got a ladder and everything.
Fine.
You're fine. Be calm. Come. There's a ladder right there.
Calm down.
Calm down. Climb up.
Oh.
Come on in.
Easy.
Go in there. It's warm. Go inside. It's warm. Go inside. It's warm. Go inside. It's warm. Oh, we got you. Thank God we saw you. Oh my God, that's freezing.
Wow, I mean, that video gave me chills. I cannot imagine how those girls must have felt out there. Just helpless, vulnerable, and if you heard the one guy said it's cold, so. And then if you're the dad of one of those girls, oh my gosh, how grateful are you for these guys? And I love all the comments that are saying like, this is the most daddest thing ever, and the one dad's like, all right, let's get it done. Let's get you guys out of there. And I know everyone involved is thanking God and that those gentlemen were there at the right time. This next clip is pretty cool. A story about an unsuspecting couple just enjoying a fun moment together. capturing their happiness with a couple of selfies. They're just smitten, as you can see. Everything was going smoothly until their little photo session took a bizarre turn. Suddenly, and literally out of nowhere, the man seemed to be forcefully yanked down to the ground. I mean, he disappears from the camera's view. If you look closely, you'll notice a chilling detail just over the man's left shoulder. A ghostly hand appears out of nowhere and it pulls him down, causing him to lose his balance. Rewind a few seconds because it was hard to spot for me at first. But also be prepared because as he falls, the camera captures something even more unsettling. A girl with long, jet black hair, vacant, lifeless eyes. I mean, what is going on here? Commenters are asking if this is some type of well-orchestrated prank, if this is some creepy entity. The people in the photo said they don't recognize the person. But on the flip side, that's what a bunch of hoaxers would say, so I don't know. It's either one of those two things. It's either a demon coming to suck the soul out of your body, or it is just a prank. This is just a funny little clip that I thought was going in a different direction. Check it out.
This girl wanted to film what her view looked like every morning on their vacation, but she never expected this would happen.
As soon as I saw what I thought was an open air balcony, I thought, wow, the views here are awesome. I can't wait to see what she sees. I thought maybe a hawk was going to swoop down or a pterodactyl. Nope, just an embarrassing moment. A video from Sweden has recently gone viral on Reddit, shared by a user named Immerse. The footage offers a first-person view of what starts as an ordinary evening walk but quickly turns mysterious and unsettling. In the video, Nimrose is walking through a forest at night on her way to the nearest bus stop next to her apartment. Despite the forest being close to kind of a neighborhood area and she has a clear walking path, the darkness definitely creates an eerie atmosphere. It's not very well lit. She mentioned that she's familiar with this walk and she walks it frequently, and so does everyone else. But she said as soon as she touched the path, something felt different that night. It's a pretty benign area that never really comes into question, but she said that there was just an unsettling feeling and she could not shake it. This sense of unease prompted her to whip out her phone and just record what was going on. Perhaps for reassurance or just to share her experience, I don't know. Document her potential death. Initially, everything seems normal. She continues down the path with only the sounds of the night around her. However, a few seconds later, that is all disrupted when something unusual happens. Someone or something appears to peek out from behind a tree in front of her. Unaware of this at the time, she didn't even react. But later, viewers of the video noticed the strange figure. This sparked debates as to whether she just uploaded this for attention, if that could have been an animal picking its head out. Some have suggested it's a cryptid. I don't know. What does it look like to you guys? I've seen this video before, but in homage to the season 2 of The House of the Dragon, I figured I would put it in this video because dragons are awesome. This video was captured in China and it has sparked a lot of interest. It really did grab the attention of both those who believe in mythical creatures like dragons and those who don't. In this clip, a hiker has managed to film what at first glance appears to be a gigantic bird hovering in the sky, or so they all think. But when you take a closer look and zoom in, its characteristics seem quite out of the ordinary. The creature boasts massive wings, a long tail, and moves with a speed that's unexpected for how big it is. Considering its massive size, you have to wonder, how in the world is this thing gliding through the air with grace? And that is where most commenters have raised their eyebrows, saying that we could possibly be looking at footage of a real-life dragon. Alright, the dragon video. First, full disclosure, I put that video in there just so I could really talk about Game of Thrones. Yeah. So, I won't give any spoilers or anything, but let me just give you a little backstory. I don't like stuff like that. I watched Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon, of course, afterwards, but I watched that later than everyone else. So maybe like 5 or 6 years. I watched it a few years ago, but I wasn't into it. I'm not into it. I don't like that time period. I don't like the way they talk. I like all that now, but it was painful for me to even start it at the beginning, and I can't even tell you how obsessed I got with it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. If you haven't seen it, you're nuts. From I was probably the biggest hater to, I'm not going to say one of the biggest fans, because I'm sure they dress up and go to like whatever, those Comic-Con things, but I don't do that, but I love the show. So anyway, and the House of the Dragon is good too. Turn that on. Yeah, get your dragon on, get your Targaryen on. Like, you're not going to be disappointed. Man, this next clip is going to get your heart pumping. We see this guy is on the boat in the ocean. The person holding the camera pans around. We get to see the scenery, gives us a feeling of that they're kind of really in the middle of nowhere, and it looks cold, and there's water and ice everywhere. It starts to get interesting. The camera swings back to the man, and in the background we see a massive wave appear, and the wave is gigantic. Yeah, now just to get this out of the way, some people are saying that this is a sea monster that created this. I don't think so. Come on. I don't think that's the story here. The story is that this gigantic wave is actually present and right behind this guy. Anyhow, it seems crazy, and I've seen when pieces of iceberg have broken off from the larger piece and it's created big waves, but nothing this big. Also, someone in the comments said that the iceberg could have shifted, which to me, that's different than a piece of it breaking off, but unbelievable that it can create that big of a wave. However, the camera cuts off, which is unfortunate for us, but hopefully it's fortunate for them and they were able to get the heck out of Dodge. This TikTok video starts off quite innocently. It features a homeowner approaching her fence that is loaded with Halloween skulls. We can see that 4 of these heads are facing the same direction. However, one skull stands out. It's facing the opposite way as if it's looking back at something. The homeowner doesn't think anything of it at all. I mean, if anything, she thought maybe some kids were just spun them around. She just readjusts the skull to match the others and goes on about her day. And this goes on for a couple days, a week or two, whatever. As she turns away, the skull she just fixed suddenly shifts and is looking right at the camera. Obviously, this is captured on video, and it has left viewers definitely stumped. Some have said that the most logical explanation is that a gust of wind could have moved the skull. No, that's not logical. I mean, none of the other skulls moved. We just got a little gust of wind whipping through there and spinning a skull? Yeah, I don't think so. Anyhow, I'm open for ideas. I think it would be funny if one of her kids had some fishing line tied to it and would spin it while she was right next to it. But not knowing the answer does make me kind of wonder. So there's a video that's been making the rounds on Reddit. It's pretty wild. The footage comes from a security camera located at Jacksonville Beach Pier in Florida. Now, when you watch this video, pay close attention to the top left corner of the screen. You're going to see this really bright light that's not just sitting there, it's kind of pulsating and hovering in midair. Well, eventually, the lights start to move. It flies just a few inches above the water's surface and then, poof, it's gone. Completely disappears from the camera's view. And yeah, this hasn't been covered much, but a guy named Matt, who was the first to spot this mysterious object, stumbled upon it while going through some CCTV footage. Some theories are thinking that this could just be a drone or maybe some weird glitch with the camera. Maybe the camera's compression rate messed things up and made the object look kind of funky. Definitely a possibility. But it's also got people talking and wondering about other things. And I'm sure you know what they are. Anyhow, what's your take on this? What do we think is really happening here? Pretty cool video. While fishing for tarpon at a golf course in the Florida Keys, a man experienced the shock of his life when he least expected it. At first, everything seems fine as the fisherman goes about his business undisturbed. Suddenly, he whips the camera to his right, and hidden in the grass just a few feet away is a massive alligator that looks to be sizing him up. After his adrenaline comes down and he catches his breath, he cautiously returns to show all the viewers that the predator has left. Well, he's at least at a safe distance. Counting his lucky stars, the fisherman wisely decides to leave the area, and decides in fact that this area is not big enough for the both of them. He'll go fish somewhere else. In May of 2021 near Tokyo, Japan, a fascinating video was recorded. It captures the skies above this charming town on a somewhat cloudy day with plenty of light. Initially, everything appears normal. Then, the camera zooms in, revealing why the person decided to record the sky in the first place. An unusual flying object is hovering among the distant clouds. But yeah, unfortunately it's too far to make out clearly, but it appears oval-shaped in like a dark gray or silver, black even. It doesn't really take much investigating to reveal that it doesn't resemble any known aircraft. Certainly no civilian planes look like this. If I'm being honest, my opinion, the object strongly resembles the classic image of a flying saucer, a UFO. And the fact that it remains eerily still in the air for quite some time, I mean, Now, I'm sure this peculiar sighting could have a logical explanation. To some people. Yeah, to the military, this could be a secret military aircraft that we're all unaware of. That's logical to them. I'm leaning towards this being a more real encounter with an extraterrestrial presence. I don't know. Rewatch the footage, decide for yourself, and let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. Now, this video recently made its way onto Instagram, sparking a lot of opinions along the way. We see this odd pattern in the sky, kind of resembles a shockwave or even a sonic boom. But let me give you some context. Back in August of 2017, SpaceX had a successful launch of their Falcon 9 rocket. Everything looked perfect, it seemed like just another textbook launch, and everything was going according to plan. However, recent information has come to light, revealing that this launch actually tore a temporary hole in a part of Earth's atmosphere called the ionosphere. The ionosphere is the layer of our atmosphere where the sun's energy and radiation do some pretty cool stuff. Anyhow, it's important because the ionosphere helps radio waves bounce around, which makes long-distance radio communication possible. Now, without boring you with more details, basically, rockets move in a curving path. However, the SpaceX launch was different. One, it was more vertical, and two, it had a very light payload. It actually tore a hole in the layer about 559 miles wide. Well, anyhow, it created these crazy looking sonic boom waves, and it had everyone freaked out. So let me know if you saw these, if you even believe what our government is saying about it, or the experts. Anyhow, I think it looks pretty cool, but I would definitely be a little worried if I saw that and I was out on my deck. Now, I have seen this popular YouTube video through the years, but this was actually a clear version, so I decided to put it in this one, and it has left a lot of people puzzled. I mean, there are thousands of comments. People are saying video editing, paranormal, yada yada. But basically, the setting is a river nestled in Scotland's landscape. But here's some context. A woman who is hoping to capture footage of an otter that's often seen in the area has set up her camera and is just waiting. Initially, everything seems fine. The calm waters and surroundings give no hint of what is lurking in the woods. As time goes on, yeah, there's no otter. But something unusual begins to form on the left side of our screen. At first, it appears kind of like a vague shadow, a mist, maybe even an animal. But gradually, it becomes more distinct. And this shape doesn't stay still. It slowly moves toward the left side of the frame, becoming clearer with each passing second, making it hard just to miss this as a simple trick. Like I said, the video has unsurprisingly gone viral. Millions of views, widespread debate. We've got the skeptics on one side arguing that this is easy for modern technology to do. Paranormal enthusiasts believe that the footage shows something genuinely unexplainable. A glimpse into the unknown, if you may. I tend to lean to the more paranormal side, but again, I don't know the girl filming this, so it's really hard to say, but I'm glad I got to finally see a clear version of it.